So Vialink is a nonprofit.
Okay.
We provide the 211 service for 10 parishes in the greater New Orleans area. So that includes St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, and Washington on the North Shore.
What is the 211 service for anyone who doesn't know?
211 is a 24/7 health and human service hotline. It operates very similar to 911.
Okay.
Except if you needed to know where the nearest food bank was that was open, or food pantry, you would call us. A shelter, maybe you were having elder care issues, you needed respite, you needed housing.
Okay.
You could call us and we would tell you what was available in your area. We capture all of our resources and categorize them by zip code, and we ask you your zip code so that we can provide you what's closest to you.
And the services are free?
The services are free,
Okay.
and as I said, it operates 24/7.
And do you make the call so the transition is easy, or do they do everything on their own, or you guide them? How does that happen?
Well,
When they call and get the information from you, do you call the...
well, usually we provide the caller then with the resource.
Okay.
Or we give them a few options for resources.
And they take it from there?
And they can take it from there. We can advocate for them if there's
Okay.
not a resource available for what
Okay.
they need. Also, if they're calling us on a text phone, a cell phone,
Right.
we can text that information to them so they don't
Okay.
have to write it down.
All right. What's your phone number, by the way?
211.
No, I'm talking about contact number.
You dial
Oh,
211
I have another number here. Okay, I'm sorry.
like you would for 911.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us some more.
Okay, what we also provide is crisis counseling.
Okay.
So we are one of the 166 certified agencies with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Okay.
So if you dial 1-800-273-TALK, chances are that call would come to one of the counselors at our center, and we would do that crisis intervention, suicide prevention counseling. We also have some contractual call center services for crisis counseling, suicide prevention. If you are in crisis and you can't remember a crisis line number, you can always just dial 211.
I thought that was the number.
Yeah, and get crisis counseling that way too. When you dial 211, there'll be a message that if you're in crisis, press 1 now, and you can access a counselor immediately that way.
The counselors are local or nationwide?
They're,
or what?
well, for us, they're local and from the greater New Orleans area.
And this has made a difference, I'm sure.
Sure, we did over 100,000, had over 100,000 contacts to our center last year, either from phone, text, or chat. We have some text services and chat services too. We had about 3,400 calls from St. Tammany Parish last year. A third of those were crisis related. And interesting enough, the average caller, or a third of the callers from St. Tammany Parish, are age 60 and older that are calling.
Really?
Calling, looking, and the number one need, other than helpline counseling, was housing, and then some health or food-related services.
And what about suicide prevention?
So about a third of the calls that we get through that 211, about 1,100 of those were helpline counseling, people in crisis needing.
And do the people, when they call, need to give their name and information, or no, it's anonymous?
They can do either.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do you ever hear back?
Sure. We try to do a follow-up on all of those calls, especially if it's someone that we needed to stay on the line with and get help to them, that we weren't able to, get them to contract with us to not hurt themselves, or help alleviate the crisis. Another service we started about 2 years ago, was a teen crisis text line.
Okay.
That, teenagers don't use the phone to call and talk. And we knew that they were in crisis and needed a way to reach them. And texting is what they're most comfortable with. So that has done very well. I'm going to have to look up that number.
Okay.
But last year we had 2,464 conversations with teenagers in St. Tammany Parish. that felt that they were in a crisis situation or had had an extremely bad day and felt they needed to talk to someone.
So they text you and then you call them back and talk to them? Is that how it
No,
works?
they text us and we text with
Okay,
them.
all right.
The text number is, it's 504-777-EASE 3273.
Okay.
And that's, all of that is on our website,
Which is?
vialink.org.
VIALINK.org.
Right.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And when you get to our website, an icon will pop up that says, do you need to chat? So we also have crisis chat, if you prefer just to type on your keyboard and talk to someone. We find that folks that are 25 and older are a little more comfortable with that. Teenagers want to use their phone and text. What's nice about our chat feature is it does not leave a footprint on the device that you've used. And we find that folks in a domestic violence situation or a human trafficking situation tend to use that.
Wow, you hear everything.
We do. We collect a lot of data.
How did you become involved with this?
Well, interesting enough, I first heard about 211 back in 2004 when I was working with a group that was looking at the suicide rate in St. Tammany Parish, and it was a group of people that came together to form St. Tammany Outreach for the Prevention of Suicide.
They
And
ran commercials and everything, I remember.
yeah, well, yeah, and that, it's still a very active grassroots group in St. Tammany. And Tim Lentz was with the Sheriff's Department at the time, and they were making cards for 211, the Sheriff's Department was, and just handing them out. And he first told me about it, now he's our Covington police chief. So about 4 years ago, I was ready for a job change and looked, and they were looking for a program director for 211, and I applied, got the job, and a year later became the CEO there. But I was kind of thrilled to see something, a job opening for something I knew all about and had been promoting for a number of years.
Do you need any assistance of anything?
Well, we could use assistance in promotion of the work that we do. Probably about 25% of the people know we exist. 211 is not just local, it is nationwide. 94% of the U.S. has access to 211. It's been designated by the FCC since 2001, so about for 16 years. They say it took households 30 years to catch on to 911, so we're a little over halfway there. So we would really like to get that out.
Okay.
So if you're traveling, you don't have to be in St. Tammany Parish. You could be in Pennsylvania. And if you need a resource or need help, you can dial 211 there and get resources.
Do you have any idea what the rates are of what differences you made in people's lives and maybe change their decisions about something they might do that's fatal? Just curious.
I really haven't looked at it at that degree. We've looked at what we save parish governments, since we do a lot of work specifically with 10 parishes, and what we save them, and some health and human services costs. On average, we're probably impacting St. Tammany Parish to the tune of about $200,000 savings. A year with their health and human services work.
Whew.
Yeah.
All right, what else can you tell us? We got about 3 minutes left.
Well, the other feature that we have at Vialink is we have the Homeless Management Information System.
Okay.
So that's tracking data on homelessness that focuses on Orleans and Jefferson Parish. But the statistics are pretty interesting in tracking the services that provide help to the homeless and the shelter counts. So having that information helps us too when folks are needing a shelter for the night. We have the bed counts, so we can tell them what's most available.
St. Tammany Parish, where would they go?
St. Tammany Parish right now, most of the folks would go to the New Orleans Mission. There's not a whole lot in St. Tammany Parish.
Now what if they needed transportation there? That's on them?
That's either on them. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it can happen through the police departments.
Okay, all right, okay. What other information?
Well, like I said, we operate 24/7.
Okay.
You know, Christmas Day, we're open. Mardi Gras Day, which is the most requested day off at my office, we're there. We do we offer contractual services. If you need a crisis line or you need some call center coverage for your agency, we're there to do that too. Some of the statistics that we collect, you know, in St. Tammany, it's interesting that our callers are pretty evenly split between male and female, where most other parishes, it's usually around 75% female, 25% male. And the average age is usually between 25 and 40. That's probably our third highest group in St. Tammany, you know, with 60 being the most. The next age group would be like 46 to 59 and all.
Now, is there one specific thing that most people need help with over the others?
Well, the number one call
Right.
has been helpline counseling. Then it's been housing issues. What we find in St. Tammany a lot is people are, it's working poor that are needing help. They have a place, but the rent's due before the next paycheck
Gotcha.
comes. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and they're really needing help that way. Affordable housing
Right.
is a big issue. Medical services. We have a pretty high percent in St. Tammany Parish that has insurance. So 61% of the people calling us actually have insurance, which that's the highest of all of our parishes. Most of them are around 30% that have insurance. So
That's a biggie nowadays.
that is a biggie nowadays. We have seen a trend that you know, 3 years ago the uninsured rate across all 10 parishes that we do 211 was pretty high. It's close to 40%, and that dropped and it got down till about 11% overall. But as long as those affordable care rates have started to go back up on those plans, we're seeing people drop those. And so we're getting more and more calls again for assistance with health care or free dental care.
Has the suicide the rate gone down?
Right now, the suicide rate in St. Tammany Parish is lower than
That's good.
than it was this
It was
past
high
year.
there for a few years ago.
Yeah, I think right now you're at 22 completed suicides this year.
Is there a certain time of the year when you see more of that?
Well, it's difficult to say because in July there were no suicides. August is not typically a high suicide month, but you actually had 4 completed suicides in one weekend.
Really?
In August. Our highest call volume times for crisis counseling start 2 days after Christmas.
I thought that would be
Yeah,
it.
and it runs for about 6 weeks after that. But it's not Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It's about 2 days after. And our crisis call volume will go from 25 to 75 a day, you know, across the parishes.
Okay, we got to wrap this baby up. Anything more you would like to say?
Just remember 211.
All right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alondra. Appreciate you coming by. Come back anytime.